For many of us, the monitor we use on our cameras is one of the most important pieces of gear we rely on because that's what gets us the feedback from the camera. That's actually the first experience with what we are shooting. Now, Shimbol sent me this unit to review, but everything I say is my own opinion. They don't get to change anything before the video is published. So here is everything I like about this monitor and a single thing I don't. Now, what I like, it's extremely well made. When you first unbox it, it looks premium, but you kind of wonder, is it plastic, is it metal? But when you touch it and hold it in your hand, it's really heavy and cold like metal is supposed to be. It feels and looks extremely well made. It's almost surprising, really. And when you put it on the camera, the gunmetal finish really complements the whole rig. The monitor looks really good, but is it one of the best? Why did I go from my Atomos Shinobi to this, the Shimbol Memory I Pro? Well, first of all, it has all these assistant features. You can change from SDI to HDMI, you can change the opacity, you have waveforms, RGB, histogram, vector scope, and they appear by default on the right side of the panel. You can also change the safe area, the width, the ratio, the color. You have grids, anamorphic D-squeeze, different markers, also colors, width and ratios. You can also change the peaking color and the peaking sensitivity. You have zebra patterns, false color. You can also import a custom LUT file. You can change the gamma curve and the value. You can enable HDR mode, and you can even change the color temperature of the screen. You can change and tweak different settings of the monitor to better suit your needs. For example, you can change the brightness, the contrast, saturation, and even the sharpness. You can adjust the RGB. It has a custom RGB adjustment panel. You can change the quality in which you record. You can change the backlight, the volume. You can even enable or disable the fan mode or format the SD card. And you can also press the record button, which can help a lot with tutorials like camera settings, vector scope analysis, or even false color to see your exposure on different shots. And you can record all of this on this SD card that the monitor came with. It came in the box, and if you slide it open, you have, well, another beautiful box that lets you know the main features. And the main features are as follows: record monitor, SDI, HDMI, 4K, and 2000 nits of brightness. It's a 5.5 HDMI and 3G SDI touchscreen monitor recorder, which can view up to DCI 4K 25 frames on HDMI or 1080 60 frames on 3G SDI. And you can also apply your custom 3D LUT and view it on the 1920 by 1080 touchscreen display. It features a 178-degree viewing angle, a 1200 by 1 contrast ratio, and obviously the 2000 nits of brightness, which is daylight viewable. The Shimbol Memory I Pro also includes HDMI and 3G SDI inputs and outputs, a USB-C port for debugging, a 3.5 headphone jack for embedded audio, and of course an SD card slot for onboard recording if that's your thing. The Shimbol Memory I Pro came with a tempered screen protector, which I applied immediately, an SD card, an HDMI cable, and an SDI cable in the box. Although it says 4K on the box, well, you guessed it, it's not a 4K display. You can view 4K content. The monitor isn't really that resolution, but it is 1920 by 1080 touchscreen display. You can record on the SD card a file up to 60 frames, 1080 resolution, MP4 file, improved UI interface, 3D LUT support, HDR monitoring, waveform, real-time focusing, custom RGB settings, a cold shoe mount also available in the box, embedded audio 3.5 headphone port, and an MPF battery plate, and also a DC input. This has replaced the Atomos Shinobi for me because of the high quality design and manufacturing, and the brightness of 2000 nits compared to the 1000 nits of the Shinobi I used to have and the 1500 nits I have on the 6K Pro. Even though the 6K Pro doesn't have an SDI port, I used the SDI cable that came in the box to connect the Memory I Pro to my Shimbol Z1000 video wireless transmitter and connect it to another monitor for clients on shoots, or just use an iPad to connect the Z1000 using the Shimbol iOS app and the quick connect to the QR code. The Memory I Pro features a CNC machine aluminum body. It has two threaded mounting holes, one at the bottom and one on the right side, and the device weighs around 300 grams, 305 to be exact. The back of the device integrates a Sony MPF battery, but the monitor can also draw power from an external source via the DC input port. And according to the company, power consumption is less than 12 watts. Now what I don't like, the single thing I don't like about this monitor is the boot up time. It's more than 15 seconds. However, even though it's 2000 nits, the power consumption isn't crazy. So just use multiple batteries, let's say the 570 Sony MPF. They can hold you for a while, but if you use the 970, the bigger battery, you can run this for a whole day of shoot. This has replaced my other monitors because of the brightness, the quality manufacturing, all the assistant features, and the ability to import custom LUTs. And even though it came with a shoe mount, I used a small rig monitor mount, two of them on the small rig handle, to connect both the monitor and the video transmitter, both from Shimbol. But it's nice to know a company such as Shimbol can ship their monitors with all these inside: cables, shoe mounts, and even protecting screens.